So do you know what the number one trap is that most people fall into when it comes to setting goals? So here's the thing. This is something that we all do. And what's really important is that what we're going to do today is share with you some of the ways to avoid this trap. So, hey there, it is Peta, Sal and Sue here. And today in this video, we are going to share some of our goals. We're going to explore some of the sciencey stuff. We are going to just have an awesome conversation about things that have worked for us, things that haven't worked for us, and just bear it all. So let's just dig into it, right? Let's just get started. So what is this number one trap that most people fall into? It's too big, too hard, too soon. It is just basically that what we do is we approach it and we make these goals massive. So what we don't take the time to do is to break it down into the smaller chunks that we need to do in order to make it more doable. So, this time of year, most of us have been on holidays, so we've got extra time up our sleeves. So we tend to have the time to do what we set ourselves to do, which was that big thing. So we might have said that, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do that and I'm going to allow myself an hour. But what we haven't looked at is that we're about to get back to work, and can I physically fit that into my daily life? So, and here's the other critical part that we miss is that we miss out on thinking about, can I do this thing when life happens? That is a really big question. So whenever you're setting a goal, break it down to the smallest possible thing that you can do. So we sent out messages to all of our lovely ladies yesterday saying, we're back, we're working out, blah, 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 who's coming, etc., etc. What's your goals? And one of the ladies that I sent the message out to, she actually came back to me and told me what her goals were. And when I looked at them, I almost fell off of my chair because, quite honestly, I don't think I could achieve the goals that she actually said. But that doesn't stop the fact that she actually set a goal, which is super, super awesome that she did that. And so I actually asked a question: where are you starting from? So one of the things that she had decided she was going to do was certain exercises, and what she was going to do is increase either the repetitions or the time that she was doing these exercises for. And so she wanted to go from doing a 3-minute plank to a 15-minute plank. Now, that's a massive goal, right? To do a 15-minute plank. What's the benefit? That's the next question. So, and these are all the things that we workshopped together yesterday afternoon. I went, so what's the benefit of doing a 15-minute plank? Why is that your goal? What is the thing that's driving you to achieve this particular goal that you have set yourself? And so sometimes we miss that why. Why is this important to me? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk to yourself for a minute, because I know that you're a bit of a goal setter. And so tell us about, what goal have you set for yourself this year?
I need, it's like every other woman our age going through menopause and everything that I've gone through, like, this past 6 months or whatever. I need to lose weight. I looked at a photo yesterday and I showed the kids and I went, oh, look how skinny I was. Oh. Mind you, this was 10 years ago, but I know that everything that has happened over the past 6-7 months, I have put on weight, and that's through stress, it's through sadness, it's through eating too much, it's through not eating enough, it's through, intermittent eating when I think of it type thing, not sleeping properly. So my goal this year is just to lose weight, but I don't want to look at it as the scales, because I'm noticing things in my life that I'm measuring it by, you know. I have a grandson now, and I'm making those noises getting up and down off the floor.
Right.
You know, I need an oxygen tank when I'm doing my shoes up, you know, because my belly's in the way type thing. But it's those things that I'm measuring. Because yes, I know, you know, the scales will come into it at some point, but I know how my body's feeling at the moment, and I want to change that feeling.
So what are those key actions that you have put on this plan that you've developed for yourself?
So probably, I think maybe October, November, the three of us had this conversation. We had, we actually did a live conversation that we did about, and, you know, Sue and I had set goals and this sort of thing, or what we were working on type thing, you know. And back then it was the little things. So I want to get back to walking, and I want to get back to working out, you know, doing strength training and good strength training. Right. I want to get back to eating breakfast. I don't think I've had breakfast in, you know,
couple of years,
7, 8, 9 months. Yeah. You know, and I know as a PT and as a lady that works, you know, in Strong Healthy Women, and doing the nutrition course and everything, I know all these things will help, and they guide you towards your goals. But it's the little, you know, doing those little steps.
Yeah. You know, and one of the things that I was thinking about this morning when I was out walking was this routine of setting goals. One of the things that one of the ways that I like to look at it is to actually reframe it to something entirely different, because I think talking about goals, it can be quite boring at this time of year. We hear it from virtually everybody is talking about goals. But, you know, you might call it, you know, the direction that you're moving in. You might call it the reason for getting out of bed. It could be anything that you call it, but it is something that you're working towards. So, you know, the top three categories that New Year's resolutions fit into, it's always, I want to work out, so I want to be fitter. I want to lose weight. And mind you, lose weight is the third one on the list. And the other one is I want to eat healthier. But if you think about exercise, so let's say you're going to start working out. So what's your current baseline for this? You know, so where are you at? Are you working out currently? Well, use a marathon as an example. Let's say you decide you want to do a marathon and you're currently sitting on the couch. Is that a big stretch for you? Is it too big? You know, and this is what we're talking about. This is the trap we can fall into. We look at that and go, I'm going to run a marathon. But the reality is maybe what we need to do is go, well, where am I at now? I'm currently sitting on the couch. So the first thing I've got to do is at least get off of the couch. So how am I going to do that in itself? And maybe that first goal for you might be a fun run as an example, you know, and they are generally 5Ks or 10Ks. So maybe you might aim for the 5K run, but then you might say my stretch goal is maybe the 10K run. So you've got something there that you know is a little bit uncomfortable, but it's doable, it's achievable. And I think we have to get a win under our belt to start with, because if we just simply take ourselves off the couch and go to the gym, are we really having some type of win? We might feel better about ourselves, but we've got to actually go, well, what did I achieve from this? What am I noticing about it? And I think that's where the other aspect comes into all of this, is that we don't spend enough time reflecting on what it is and how we're feeling, which is what you've done here. You've gone, okay, I'm making noises, you know, I'm huffing and puffing all the time. So you're actually getting into really honing in on how you're feeling. But I think the baseline is such an important aspect, making it doable and then setting something above that that is just that little bit of a stretch. Because here's the thing about goals. The definition of goals is that they're going to create some type of friction. They're going to take you out of your comfort zone. So sometimes that reframing of them, looking at them as something different, means that we're going to be taking a step forward towards actually achieving whatever it is that we want to achieve.
Based on that too, can I just add, I think it is so very, very, very important to write it down. Sit down and write your goal plan or whatever it is out. Because I will tell you from personal experience, and I don't know, Sue and Peter, whether this has happened to you, but you go, oh, okay, so my goal this week is to go walking every day, and you get up the next day and you forget and you go and do something else. We forget that we've set a goal. And then that night, are you laying in bed and going, oh, that's what I was going to do today. I forgot to do my goal. So please write it down. I think that's so important.
I think that is a really interesting point that you just made, because here's the thing, is if you are going to say to yourself, I'm going to go walking, well, okay, so how long are you going to go for? Where are you going to go? And put it in your calendar. Like if you've got a hot date with a friend, you are going to put that on that calendar. You're not going to do that. And yet when it comes to actually something that we want to work towards, we don't write it down. We don't put it on that calendar. And if we don't have it there, then, as you said, we're going to forget about it. But then the other aspect of writing it down and putting it there, let's say you say, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do that between 7 and 8, 5 mornings a week, as an example. You need to also, and this is where this reflection, I'm always come back to the reflection stuff. What are your hard no's and what are your hard yeses? So, so if, for example, you might say, I'm going to compromise on this. I'm not going to do it if there's a family emergency. But if there's some type of family drama that is not an emergency, I'm a hard no on it and I'm still going to go and do it. So I think it's really clear that we need to have these clear boundaries around it, because if we don't have the boundaries, then what's going to happen is we're going to let other people shift that direction that we're working towards as well too.
Yeah. And most people, I think most people, family, friends, that sort of thing, support you in your journey until they need something from you, and then that's when they need you to, okay, well, you can't go and do that because I need this from you,
Yeah. I think that the other thing is looking at it, I don't know, I can't really think of a great word to explain this, but maybe let's say it's development or growth or something like that. So if you say that you're going to go to the gym, 3 days a week, what actually do you personally need to develop in order to be able to do that? If I think about that, and I'm not someone who's currently going to the gym, I've got to develop some level of discipline. So what do I know about discipline? Is that, some type of skill, some type of growth that I need to do as a person to be able to then follow through on it? And that's the thing about all of this, is that we think it's just something we go, okay, I want to lose weight. But there is so much more to it than just going, I'm going to lose weight. Firstly, it is breaking it down, knowing why it's important to us. What is it that we want to do, and how are we going to do it? And then move from there. Now, I'm not sure if everybody can hear those planes flying over. You can hear them? Right, okay. I'll apologise for that.
I can hear the planes flying over your house.
Yeah, they're pretty loud, so hence I'm getting louder and louder over there because I'm trying to talk over the top of them. They're not normally this early, so, but anyway, here they are. Let's throw to you, Sue. Do you have a goal for 2023? I almost said 22.
Well, when you normally you give us a bit of a heads up as to what the topic's going to be, and you asked that question, and I actually said no, I don't, and that's a little bit unusual for me because I'm very focused and driven in what I do, and I always have goals that I want to achieve. But this year, I've decided I'm not quite sure what I want to do, because for me, I'm living a healthy lifestyle. That's my continual way that I live. And it doesn't mean that I don't go off track. But for me, for all the reasons you've talked about, I have made that commitment years ago that I am going to live a healthy lifestyle. But I also want to live a life where I'm using my time wisely, I'm making the most of every day. And I just feel that this year I'm not quite in the right mindset to think about what specific goals I want. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that it comes back to, you have to be ready. You have to have something that's on your mind that says, like Sal, I want to lose weight. Because unless you really have something, you've got to, and I'm like you, Peta, reflection. You've got to look back. Maybe you've had that same goal for the last 3 years and you haven't achieved it. And you've got to ask yourself why. Is there some underlying reason that you're not achieving that goal? And I think that this time of year, as you said, everyone's making goals and New Year's resolutions or whatever, and you feel pressured into thinking, oh gosh, I've got to make a goal. You can make a goal at any time of the year, on any day, but I think you've got to be in that right frame of mind and be open to what your goal is, but also then what you're going to do about it, with all those useful tips that you and Sal have just said, which I follow if I have a goal. You've got to just take that step back and maybe say, what's been holding me back from achieving this? And it might be something completely different to what your goal is related to. It might be a limiting belief. It might have been something that you just can't let go of in the past. And so you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be in that right frame of mind because you've got all these, things subconsciously that are taking over, and you've got to clear that out. So for me, I'm just taking my time this year. Normally, New Year's Eve, I've got the goals in the book, I've written them in my diary, but in saying that, I still write, because I've accepted the lifestyle that I want. I still write in my diary every week what I'm doing each day for movement, for exercise, things like that. Maybe what I've got to do during the week, a to-do list and that sort of thing. So that's sort of ingrained in me after all these years of setting goals. So I think for me, I think that sometimes you can feel that pressure to find something to have as your goal. But if you don't have that goal that you're invested in, and like Sal, I'll use you as an example, you've got to that point where you say, I want to lose weight, and I can hear the determination in your voice. So unless you've got that specific goal that you know and you've committed to and you want to invest in, then take the time, like Peter said, reflect. Where are you now in your life? What do you want for your life? You know, I might be at a time in my life where I want to step back rather than go forward. So, you know, it's up to the individuals, I think, as to how you approach it.
Yeah,
and can I just add, Sue? Sorry, Peter. I just wanted to add to what you were talking about there about, you know, setting your goals in January. You know, most people call them New Year's resolutions. And research has shown, and I don't know the percentage, but I think it's something like 96% of people that set New Year's resolutions have finished with them by March. They've given up by March, you know, and that's a big number.
And I know, Peter, hold your thought, Peter, because it'll be valuable. But I just want to say before I forget, if you do have a goal and you want to achieve it, ask for help if you can't. You know, like say it's a fitness goal. Strong, healthy women. I mean, we're here. We don't just take the classes and the sessions. We're here to help people, help women achieve the goals that they set. So you don't necessarily have to do it on your own, especially if you're starting out. You know, people like us even go off track, but we're more experienced in setting and achieving goals. But if you're just starting, reach out, because there's always someone there that will want to help you.
Okay, so I've got a couple of things that I want to jump in on. So the first thing is thank you for saying that, because I'm going to give a shout out to Elise. So with those messages I sent out yesterday to our lovely clients, she actually messaged back with a very, very large message. She has just recently, just before Christmas, had a knee replacement. And she said, I just love you guys. Thank you so much. She said, I am always asking people what they want to achieve. And I'm always the person supporting other people in what they are trying to achieve. But this is the first time. So she's, you know, she's been with us around 12 months now. This is the first time anybody has actually said, okay, what's your goal? Let me support you with that. And she was just so appreciative of the fact that she was asked and offered to have some level of support and accountability with it. So I want to come back to not having a goal, Sue. And this is one of the things that I actually mentioned earlier was this reframe. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the lovely light of my life, Paul, who took us to the emergency department because he was the culprit, the recipient of needing to go to the emergency department. So we spent New Year's Day in emergency. And he has some chips off of his spine and he's broken a couple of ribs. And so he's in a lot of pain. But what that has meant for him is that I can see he's slowly improving now and life is feeling a little bit better for him. But up until just recently, what was happening is that he was just staying in bed and he was moping. And, you know, I'd go down and say, you know, what can I do for you? What can I help you with? You know, and chatting to him and giving him, you know, some support. But here's what gets him out of bed every day. So he gets out of bed every single day of the week, rain, hail, or shine, to go and work our horses. This is the thing that drives him. This is his passion. This is his purpose in life. Now, he has another job on top of that, which he enjoys doing as well too. But that is what gets him out of bed. And so when he didn't have that, because I just went, well, I'm not doing this. I'm shipping the horses off, or I'm putting them in the paddock so they're all over the place. He didn't have that anymore. So therefore it was like, oh, pitiful me. What am I going to do? Now, I understand that he's in pain. I introduced him to podcast, got him a lovely little set of earbuds, gave him a few to get him started, and he has recently become the podcast guru. He now loves actually having these deep and meaningful discussions because he now has something that is driving him, something that has given him a purpose and a reason. Now, it's not physically active. He is now walking, around quite a little bit as well too, but he has actually started to stimulate his mind. He's got something that's driving him. So, Sue, for you, this is what I'm going to say. When you set a goal, your goals are massive. Like, you go out and go, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to run a marathon at 85. So, you have something that drives you. You have something that gets you out of bed every day. You have some type of direction in life. So, and that's why this reframe is such an important and valuable tool. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a goal, but what is it that has you getting out of bed and exercising every day? What is that thing that drives you to have that healthy lifestyle? And I mean, I can ask you the question if you know what it is, but otherwise, what I'm going to say to you is spend some time reflecting on it and actually see if you can actually identify what that is, because that could be something that's really, really valuable to share with other people, because it might actually prompt them to go, oh, hang on, this is what is going to give me some purpose. This is what's going to help me start stepping forward rather than staying where I am. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a goal.
No, you're right. And I think that for me, my main purpose, well, I'm a giving person and all those sort of things, but recently, over the last few years, I have been, my purpose is to live the best life that I can and experience what I can, because I've got, I'm 65. You don't know what, length of time you have on this earth. And I think that, for me, the basis of it all is to be healthy and to live a healthy lifestyle. So then I can enjoy getting up and doing what I put my mind to, or what I want to do, or what brings me joy. And I think that's the purpose that gets me up every day, is trying to make the most of the life that I have. And it doesn't mean that every day I get up and I'm all rainbows and unicorns. And happy. But it's just having that baseline there that I've only really come to it in the last couple of years, maybe because I'm getting a bit older, maybe because my husband's a bit older than me. I think you take for granted a lot of things, and especially, life. So I think that my purpose is to try to live the best life that I can, and be healthy enough to enjoy whatever I can from life.
You've actually just, I'm just going to quote the Strong Healthy Women vision that we have, which is to help women, prevent that impact of aging on their minds and bodies, so that they can play and participate energetically in life, whatever that happens to mean to them. So, you are showing us what that actually is. And, that for you is playing with your grandkids, that's traveling and doing all those types of things. And they seem to be the two key things that drive the women in our community. It's like, I want to be able to get up and down off the ground with grandkids. I want to be able to, travel and live life fully. And so you've now come into that stage of life. You now have a grandchild. And so, and it's more noticeable for you. Yeah, it's more noticeable. I'm going to talk about, so I'm going to talk about some of the action items that I've put in place. One of the things that I was conscious of is getting back to whole foods. And so what I decided to do was actually track and set myself my goal to have 30 whole foods over the course of the week. So, and the reason that I did this is because, and I know that for many women, they'll do exactly the same thing. They have the same breakfast, the same lunch, and the same dinner, just with this little level of change. Whereas I know that I feel my best when I have variety, when I am eating different foods, because I know that my microbiome, my gut health is dependent on having all of those lovely little cells that need to be generated, having the variety, because they're happiest when that occurs. And so I went, you know what? That is what I'm going to do this year. So, so yesterday, because I always start my week on a Sunday because I'm weird. Who knows? But so yesterday I started tracking, how many whole foods did I have? And so yesterday I was up to 16, right? So it's the first day. But here's the trick. You might think, oh, that's easy to get to 30. But none of those foods that I have on that list can be counted again if they're the same as what I did yesterday. So they have to be different. So, and that is the thing that's driving me. I am looking for variety in my life to have healthier gut health, basically, which in turn has me feeling healthier, has me feeling like I have more energy, and actually creates less bloating for me. That's for me personally. And it probably does it for most people as well too. The other little goal that I set myself was to actually be able to lower myself to the ground without using any hands. Now I can do that, right? But I wanted to be able to get up off the ground without any hands. So, and this is a longevity test. So, for each hand that you use, you're losing 10 years off of your life. So, I just went, okay, I'm noticing that, it's more of a struggle. And so I want to be able to do this. But not only do I want to be able to get up off the ground without hands, I want to be able to jump up. It's not just step up, it's jump up. Well, I'm proud of myself because guess what? I can already do it. Because I started on the 1st and today's the 9th, but I already achieved it by the 6th. And here's what I noticed for me personally, and this is the thing, is that it was such a struggle to be able to do it. But I knew that over the years, I've had, breaks in my ankles, I've had torn ligaments, and all sorts of things going on with my feet. And so I have limited mobility. And so what I did was I gave myself a little elevation under my heels. Because I lowered myself down, but I put an elevation under my heels. That was what I needed. So now I know for me to be able to do it without the elevation, I need to improve the mobility that I have in my ankles, which therefore means I won't need the elevation. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to fully gain that mobility from all of the things that have happened in my feet, but I'm going to be at least working towards that each week to improve that movement that I have in my body. So if you look at those goals that I'm setting, they're specific actions that I'm taking. I know why I want to do it. I know what I'm doing and why I want to do it. And I think these are the two things that we have to think about. Why is it important to me? What am I doing? And then develop this type of action plan behind it. Any comments, girls? Any recommendations as far as my goals are concerned?
No, none from me.
No, I think that's commendable. No, I think you're right. You've got to know why.
Yeah.
But actually, maybe you could just tell us quickly what whole foods are, because some people mightn't really know what they are. We've talked about it before.
I look, whole foods are just really foods that are as close to the source as they possibly are. So, you know, nuts, seeds, herbs, you know, you might be plant-based, so you might, you know, just only have plants. But, you know, I'm not fully a plant-based person. I've done that in the past. It's not something that I want to continue as well to either, because it wasn't the best thing for me personally. I need to have those meat-based proteins as well too. And so, you know, I eat fish, I eat chicken, and I do have meat on the odd occasion. Not at the moment because I have braces on still. So I am looking forward to a piece of steak when I get my braces off. So there's a goal this year as well, eating steak. Oh dear. All right. Any final piece of advice from you, Sue?
Well, just as we've said, know your why. And then I think actually just perhaps just try one thing at a time rather than going for the big. Just try starting with a smaller goal and then building up from there, but understanding why you want to do it and how you're going to go about it, plan it.
That's a really good point. I'm going to jump in there, because if you think about it, like Sal, to lose weight, you know, this month, it might be that you just focus on having breakfast. So that's the one thing that you do. So it's just one thing. So you're creating some level of discipline around it. You're creating some level of consistency. Then what happens is you go, okay, now that I've nailed that, I'm going to keep doing it. But next month, I'm going to add in, you know, whatever it happens to be. So that's a really, really good point. One thing. Yeah. So what about you, to wrap up?
And this is why I said before, write it down, plan it out.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading an article and this filmmaker called Matt Davella, he has created a routine for him because he was sort of a bit all over the place. And he said, you look at any successful person, they have a written plan in place.
Oh, they do.
And they have rules. And that's why they're successful. So his rule was a 2-day rule. He created this 2-day rule for himself. And it was that the new habit that he created, or the goal that he was working for, he worked on that for 2 days straight, and then he could have a day off. But he never, ever skipped more than 1 day of working on his goal.
I love that piece of advice, Sal. And the reason that I love it is there's the reward. You know, I'm going to do it for 2 days and then I've given myself the day off. So a lovely little reward. Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. My piece of advice is to write it down and plan it out, and that will more than likely help with your success, reaching your goal. Because you were talking before, Peta, like right at the beginning, you were talking, you know, was your new year goal, your goal this year to go to the gym for 1 hour, but then you've gone back to work. People don't take into account, okay, I'm going to go to the gym for 1 hour. How far away is the gym from your house?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not an hour then. It's, you know, a 10, 20-minute drive either side of that. So now we've got, you know, an hour 20 or an hour 40.
Yep.
You know, are you going straight home? Are you going straight to the gym from work? Don't forget, you've got to pack your bag. Those sort of things. So when you get to the gym, there's another 10 minutes getting changed. So your 1 hour in the gym could actually be 2 or 3 hours, 2.5. Yeah. And that will put you off trying to reach your goal, because you'll go too hard. So write it down, plan it out.
Yeah, look, I know that, like, I only started going to a gym in my 40s. That was like the epiphany for me. And when I started, it wasn't that that time in the gym. It was a couple of hours because I was that person who went early in the morning. So I had to pack my clothes. I then had to shower. I then had to, get into the city, which was a fair distance away as well too. So yeah, it was a big rush job and it did require a lot of discipline to start doing it and to stick with it, because it would have been really, really easy to give up on it. So that's where having, as you said, those hard yeses and those hard no's, so, those boundaries around it is such an important part of anything that we want to achieve in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to finish up with saying these are some questions to ask yourself about whatever that goal, purpose, direction, whatever you want to call it, is. So how passionate are you about this goal? Does it give you butterflies in the tummy? Does it excite you in some way? Because guess what? If it's not giving you butterflies, if it's not making you feel excited, then more than likely you're going to start it and you're going to stop it. The next thing is ask yourself your question, is it too big? Which is exactly the trap that everybody falls into. Just nut it down, break it down into the smallest thing. And as Sue said, reach out to us if you need some help getting it down to that smallest, factor that is going to help you work through it. The next thing is, this is a really, really important question. If life happens, and I'm going to say it does happen, can you still do it? Okay? So life is going to happen. It's going to happen to all of us. So can you still do it? Because if you can't still do it when life happens, then it's too big. So you've got to bring it down again. Just keep chunking it down to that smallest, tiniest little thing, so that when life does happen, you can still do it. The next thing, this is really important as well. Are you prepared to do the work? Now, I look at those gorgeous women on Instagram, and I love some of them. They're showing us how to do different types of exercises and the likes, and I look at them and, they've got their tummies out, which is great. And I look at their abs and I think that's lovely. Am I prepared to do the work to work for those abs? No, I'm not. Simple stuff. I'm not. So I know this about myself. So this is part of the reflection. I'm not going to do that work. Am I going to, keep my body fat down? Yes, I'm going to keep my body fat in the healthy range. I'm definitely going to do that. But I'm not going to worry about the six-pack abs, because I am not going to do the work, and I'm not going to stick with that amount of work. I know that about myself. All right, so you've got to be prepared to do the work. And then the next question to ask yourself is, how much will you do? And that's all to do with this. Is it too big? And then the next part of it is, can you be consistent? Again, it all is coming back to this trap that we all fall into, making it too big and then actually not thinking about it right down to this lowest level. I've got to feel something about it. I've got to know the why, and I've got to know what it is and why I am doing it. So thanks for joining us today. Thanks, ladies. Some valuable insight from us all, I think, today. And if you loved it today, please, share this video with other people. We would really, really appreciate it, that's for sure. And if you need any help, you know where to find us. All you need to do is message either Sal, Sue, or myself, and we are there for you. So take care, everybody, and we shall see you all very soon. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a great day.